Whistleblowers tell GOP candidates that California could be losing $250 billion in the state's education system, including reports of fake community college applications, scamming student aid funds. Which brings us to a different kind of fraud: ghost daycares.
These are the guys dressed up in cosplaying with the big Black Hawk helicopters and the tactical gears to suppress voter turnout. The fact that he's trying to vandalize vote by mail. I don't for a second trust him. And forgive me if you think that's hyperbolic or I'm going all Alex Jones on you. I remember something called January 6th.
Like and subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to get notifications anytime I go live or make a video. God bless you. God bless America. Let's get into this. All right, California's fraud. Y'all saw what happened in Minnesota, right? I mean, unless you were sleeping on a rock, smoking crack in the back of the Cadillac with Cat in the Hat, then you should have seen all of that fraud that has come out of Minnesota, that has been presented to us by Nick Shirley, and that will continue to come out of Minnesota. But California, if you thought the fraud in Minnesota was crazy, wait till you see what they doing in California. So hey, I got another thing I want to show you guys. Is we got the brand new shirt out. So if you're still in the business of merch, here you go. Don't mess with the USA. I think I just put US. Oh, USA, I got the flag on there. With Maduro on here. All you got to do is go to tatumstore.com, tatumstore.com, put the discount code in. We'll flash it on the screen, put it in the description section. God bless you. God bless America. I want y'all to check out what they said on Newsmax. Wrote a clip.
California Congressman Kevin Kiley, he is sounding the alarm in his home state, saying under Governor Gavin Newsom's leadership, it has become the, quote, fraud capital of America.
And we have team coverage. Our national correspondent Alana Austin is on Capitol Hill with more on the investigations into Tim Walz. But we start with correspondent Heather Myers, who has more on what is going on in California. A rainy day out there on the West Coast. Heather, what can you tell us?
Well, good afternoon to you, Katrina and Andrew. This latest report was issued by the state auditor, and that's a nonpartisan position. That state auditor now puts 8 state agencies on a high-risk list of agencies to watch out for things like fraud and mismanagement as well as waste. Here's a look at that 92-page report. Newly added to the high-risk list is California's food stamp program. If the state doesn't get the improper payments under control, it could cost an extra $2.5 billion. Also on there is the Department of Finance, which was tasked with giving out COVID relief funds. Critics say $32 billion of that was taken by fraudsters. Then there are infrastructure issues like California's deteriorating dams and also the high-speed train that's already cost taxpayers $18 billion without a single section of track complete. Other reports cite $24 billion spent on the homeless issue that critics claim the state lost track of. More recently, there's a report that says California cell phone users paid a surcharge for years to upgrade the state's 911 system. Here's Congressman Kevin Kiley talking about what happened to that plan.
That after spending $650 million on that system, the state is totally scrapping it and starting over, completely wasted the money because the technology doesn't work. Mind you, we are very close to Silicon Valley in Sacramento, and yet the government can't figure out how to make basic technology perform.
Let's talk about this real quick. They just mentioned that like 30+ billion was stolen. 30+ billion. That's like the money. I like to put this in perspective because people are losing their mind over Israel. And why do we give money to Israel? Okay, if you want to make that argument, let's make this argument. That's 10 years of giving money to Israel. 10 years of giving money to Israel. Just lost in California on COVID money fraud. Fraud. Not even the fact that they shouldn't even done it in the first place. We're talking fraud. And then you go with the high rail system that a track to nowhere. I don't think they've built any track for the light rail or the high speed rail. 18 billion gone. Homelessness, which is still rampant in California. They lost the money. That's 20 billion. You're talking, I don't know if I do the math, that's nearly $100 billion. Do you know how long it would take them to spend that in Israel? That's why I like to put this fraud in perspective, because this is just in California. We're not talking about Minnesota. It's another 20 billion. And people are crying about foreign aid. Now, I agree. We should be managing our foreign aid. We shouldn't be giving money where it's not necessary. But the $3 billion that we give per year to Israel for defense and all kind of intel that we get from Israel, and obviously as a Zionist to support Israel and the nation state and their existence, biblical existence, but the fraud that's going on in individual states surpassed this by leaps and bounds. You wonder why our nation is trillions of dollars in debt. Many of these states are hundreds of billions of dollars in debt because of blatant fraud, and it's all associated with handouts, food stamp fraud, all of this homelessness, it's all fraud. And Kevin Kiley gets into it, and Trump, he has his take on it, and I'm going to play it here in a second, but I just want to be just overly clear about this. This fraud is completely preventable. I mean, like we shouldn't even be having this conversation. And people who are participating or associated with the fraud, they've already gotten their money, and you're not getting it back. They say the high light rail, or whatever you call it, the high speed rail thing. The people who were in the contract done got the money. They just didn't build it. They still got the money. You know, the people, what was the other one? The homelessness. All those nonprofit 501c3s that are working with the homelessness crisis, they got their money, and they're not going to give it back. So they just played y'all. Let's play another Kevin Kiley's clip, because he explains what he was saying on the other show a little more in detail, and I think it's very interesting. Then we're going to get to Donald Trump, because Donald Trump put the icing on the cake when it comes to this topic. Roll the clip.
Yeah, so this came from the nonpartisan state auditor, which essentially christened California the fraud capital of the United States, with the number of agencies classified as high risk, meaning there's rampant fraud, abuse, mismanagement. It has doubled during Gavin Newsom's tenure, from 4 agencies to 8 agencies. So we're talking about all kinds of fraud when it comes to Medicaid, when it comes to SNAP benefits, when it comes to uninsurance benefits. And all of this, by the way, comes on top of the incredible fraud and waste and mismanagement that we already knew about. The high-speed train, where there's been no track laid in 17 years, spending $18 billion. The $32 billion during COVID at a minimum of unemployment insurance fraud. The $650 million on a canceled 911 next generation system that was canceled because the technology wasn't there. And so California is absolutely, under this governor, the fraud capital of the United States. And this is exactly the model that Governor Newsom wants to take to the rest of the country.
Well, you got the governor's attention because he responded to you saying, quote, Kiley is wrong. The auditor's high-risk list does not allege wrongdoing or billions in currency lost. It is a management tool used to target complex programs for heightened oversight and corrective action. Representative Kiley's claims are flat out false and misrepresent both the state auditor's report and the facts. Quick, your reaction to this?
I'd invite anyone to read the audit. And by the way, there have been other audits, like the one that found that $24 billion was spent on homelessness, and they lost track of the money.
Yeah, and you can look at the bottom line there in the state of California. They're billions of dollars in debt. Congressman Kiley, thank you so much for joining us tonight on the
Just putting things in perspective. We're just putting it in perspective. It's not a partisan thing. I don't care what side of the aisle that you live on. With the amount of taxes that you could have had in your own pocket, but instead you're shilling it out to the state government and you with no consent. This is assault. They're assaulting your family legacy, and they don't have to prove nothing. They don't have to. You just lost that money. He gonna go on with his life at his vineyard, selling wine and worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and he not gonna give up about none of y'all. That's how it works. He done pimped you for all your money. This is why socialism and taxation and big government don't work. Donald Trump had something to say about it. Let's play the Donnie, because the Donnie It's funny. Like, did that rhyme? No, it didn't rhyme. Don't worry about it. But Donald Trump is funny when it comes to this. He like throw jokes. He kind of like me a little bit. He is serious, but he telling little jokes, make it funny, but he tell it like it is. Roll the clip.
We should give everybody, like, these competency tests, right? The cognitive, they call it cognitive. You know, I'm the only president that went for cognitives. I think every president and vice president should be forced to take cognitive exams, mental tests, like, are they intelligent? Wouldn't it be nice? Do you think Walz could pass a cognitive test, as an example? Do you think Kamala could? I don't think Gavin could. He's got a good line of crap, but other than that, he couldn't pass. I mean, here's a guy who didn't want to have water coming down from the Pacific Northwest. Why? You know, they have a little tiny fish, this big, it's a little tiny fish. Not doing well. You know why? No water. They're sending water. It's too much. It's killing the fish, so they cut it off. And then they have 25,000 houses burned down. They don't know why. No, I think, I believe in it. I'm the only one that took a cognitive test.
And I know people like to make fun of Donald Trump and act as if he's old and senile. But the reason he resonates because it's very simple, basic math and cognitive functionality. It's very clear and simple, the stuff Trump is talking about. It's very clear and simple, the things that we are observing and we think it's nonsensical for people to be acting and operating this way. And these politicians are such frauds and they trick you. And it's crazy to me, to be quite honest.